Nsig is so good. Yo guys, it's Vin, and this is the first part of my ultimate Xull guide. After getting over 100 votes on my original Reddit post to make this guide, I decided to get to work as soon as possible. And in doing so, I am holding my friends Bobby and Korai hostage to help me gather footage. So if you like this video, please be sure to thank them in the comments. Seriously, this guide would not be possible without them. Thanks, guys. Today, we're going to be going over some general Xull tips and his Axe Sigs, what they do, when to use them, and how to use them, especially when stringing out of your light attacks, which is, in my opinion, one of Xull's biggest strengths. So let's get right into it. What are a few words that come to mind when you think of Xull? Strong but slow? Spammy? Shrek? Well, you're partly right. He is strong, and he may be green, but he's not an ogre. Also, Xull isn't really that slow of a legend, and you may be thinking, but he has 4 dex and 4 speed! What do you mean he isn't that slow of a legend? First of all, calm down. Second of all, dex doesn't matter. Third of all, if you take 1 out of strength and put it into speed, you're not that slow anymore, and you're still really strong. Finally, of all, look at this Axe Sig. You mean to tell me that a 4 dex, 4 speed, meathead archetype legend can jump this high, this fast? In fact, Xull's Axe Sig has the highest vertical hitbox of any attack in Brawlhalla. It's actually very similar to Fate's Orb Nsig, but just like the rest of Xull's Sigs, it's way stronger and way more satisfying to hit. On a more technical note, on a 5 defense Bodvar, it does 27.13 damage uncharged and 31.2 damage fully charged, although when fully charged, it doesn't hit 1 jump height. It has a respectable 43 variable force, and an astounding 95 fixed force. This means that on Brawlhaven at center stage, it will kill at 150, Demon Island at 160, and Small Mammoth Fortress at 170. Finally, it has 25 startup frames, 8 active frames, and 20 recovery frames. So what does all this mean? You get an unreactable, fairly hard-hitting anti-air that you can jump, dodge, or attack out of well before hitting the ground, making it virtually unpunishable and highly spammable. And although its killing power isn't too much to brag about, let me remind you that this move has the highest vertical hitbox in the game, meaning that if you hit it, you're already a few meters closer to the top of the map, which is a few meters closer to your opponent dying. Furthermore, this Sig covers pretty much every platform in the game, even those on Miami Dome. This is especially useful for disrupting floaty or passive players on maps that support floating or playing passive, which are mostly platform maps. And you may be saying, yeah, this is great and all, but what if my opponent isn't floaty or passive? What if I'm not playing on a platform map? Well, I haven't even gotten to the best part yet. Axe Sig's true power comes from its ability to string out of Axe's light attacks. One of Axe's staple true combos is Grounded Dare into Reverse D-Light. However, if you hit your opponent with the aerial version of Dare, or its frontal hitbox, you can't follow up with D-Light True. However, if you instead follow up an aerial or frontal dare with Nsig, it'll catch most jumps and dodges. Also, at low damages, if you do hit dare reverse D-Light, you can Nsig to catch spot dodges. Not to mention that even if they dodge in another direction, the Nsig will still likely hit because the hitbox is ginormous. At high damages, you can follow up any type of dare with an Nsig. If they're behind you when you hit the dare, simply turn around, then Nsig. If they're in front of you when you hit the dare, hold diagonally down on your movement key to dash forward, then turn around Nsig. Nsig can also be used as an alternative to recovery as a jump read out of sidelight nair. If you're on a platform map, you can ledge cancel Nsig to punish 2 frames faster and save your dodge. Now here's some real game examples of Nsig strings. Okay, just get back to Sig. What do you... Okay, chill, bro, chill. Calm down. We haven't won yet, calm down.
I'm just having so much fun in it.
Next, we're going to talk about Xull's Axe Sig. Although this move isn't nearly as useful as his Axe Sig, it's still decent, and I'll tell you why soon. On a 5 defense Bodvar, it does 30.39 damage from close to mid-range, and really far away, it does 29.3 damage. It has an above average 60 variable force and 70 fixed force, meaning that on Brawlhaven at center stage, it'll kill at 140, Demon Island at 150, and Small Mammoth Fortress at 160. Finally, it has 17 startup frames, 9 active frames, and 29 recovery frames. So let's start with its cons. First, Xull charges at the opponent fairly slowly. When compared to a Surrey Sword side Sig, this move seems fairly lackluster. Second, it has a small hitbox, only 9 active frames and a whopping 29 recovery frames. That's almost half a second. This gives the move little priority and makes it extremely easy to punish. Finally, although it has 60 variable force, which is among the highest in the game, it sends at a perfect 45-degree angle, making it fairly inefficient at killing, at least for a move with 60 variable force. However, Axe Sig's biggest strength is that it has only 17 startup frames, which makes it a near instant punish to whiffs or bad landings. And we shouldn't forget that it's a 30 damage reversal, meaning that you can regain stage control and output solid damage in the same move. But that's pretty much it for Axe Sig. It's far from Xull's best Sig, and I'd actually argue that it's one of his worst. Unfortunately, you're going to see a similar trend with his Axe Dsig. When used, Xull sends out a bear trap that will hit anyone from about this close to about this far. On a 5 defense Bodvar, it does 26.3 damage uncharged and 31.2 damage fully charged. It has an average 49 variable force and an above average 70 fixed force. This means that on Brawlhaven at center stage, it will kill at 140, Demon Island at 150, and Small Mammoth Fortress at 160. It has 20 startup frames, 13 active frames, and 26 recovery frames. Now, just by looking at this move, you might be able to tell why it's not very good. First, it has 26 recovery frames, making it very similar in frame data to the Axe Sig, except this time you're locked in place. If your opponent knows how to jump, they can easily move around the bear trap and hard punish you. Also, this move is just super niche overall. In most cases, it's more optimal to sidelight Nair rather than Dsig, because 1, it does more damage, and 2, it's less punishable. But despite all this bad stuff I'm saying about Axe Dsig, it does have some redeeming qualities. First, it's a ground to kill option that sends in a perfectly straight line. This is useful because Axe doesn't have a reliable grounded kill confirm unless you can space sidelight Sair perfectly every time. Also, it's a disjoint, meaning that the move's hitbox is separated from the player's hurtbox, or space where you can get hit. If you combine these two facts, you get a move that is very effective at punishing highly grounded lateral weapons, notably Greatsword. It's also very good at countering Lance's falling Sairs and sword sidelights. But in my opinion, Axe Dsig's best use is as a ledge guard bait. Even if it has high recovery frames, let me remind you that this move is a disjoint, a very good one at that, meaning that it's extremely safe to spam on the ledge. When your opponent thinks they have your rhythm, oftentimes they'll try to get back onto stage to punish you directly ahead. Now, just endlight them to send them back off stage and repeat the cycle over again. This bait is extremely tilting to get hit by, and will often lead to your opponents rushing their approaches back to stage, to which you can capitalize and possibly score an early knockout. If they're smart, they'll try to recover high, but this is when you Nsig them to block that out. The Dsig into endlight bait can even be used effectively on stage, but just remember that you're locked in place for the whole duration of the move, so make sure to only use it if your opponent is either far away, grounded, or both. But even then, this trick probably won't win you games like the various Nsig tech I showed earlier. It's just good to know because it can net you a few extra damage here and there. Like I said, it, along with Axe Sig, are among the worst in Xull's kit. However, Axe Nsig is extremely useful, which is why I took up a majority of the guide. If you only take away one thing from this video, it should be to use Nsig very often. I'm serious, this move is basically unpunishable as long as you're not running around the stage spamming your heavy attack button the whole match. Not to mention, this move is very intimidating, both to dodge and get hit by. But regardless if it connects or not, using Nsig a lot will often scare your opponent into staying grounded, which is perfect for Axe, since its main damage building combo, Sidelight Nair, is most effective on grounded opponents. And that pretty much wraps up the first part of the Ultimate Xull Guide. Of course, this isn't a strict, definitive manual on how to play Xull, because you can play him however you want. At the end of the day, what's most important is having fun. And if you are, I'm happy for you. What this really is a collection of things that I have learned that I think you would benefit from, especially when climbing the ranked ladder. But again, just because you incorporate all of the tips, tricks, and tech I showed earlier doesn't guarantee you a diamond border. Heck, I'm not even diamond. But you know who is? Snowy. He's actually the #1 Xull player, and he represented us rare Xull mains by placing 3rd at BCX. So if you want to see the best Xull gameplay in Brawlhalla, go watch Snowy. His channel link is in the description. And with that out of the way, thanks to everyone who supported me in making this guide. That includes all the Redditors who voted on my original poll, Bobby and Korai who helped me gather clips, and you guys for being so patient in waiting for this. I truly gave this my all. I worked anywhere from 1 to 3 hours daily on it, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would also greatly appreciate it if you share it with your fellow Brawlhalla buddies, and also drop a comment telling me what I need to improve on, because I know there's a lot. And one more thing. I'm going to take a short break before I start the second part of the Ultimate Xull Guide, where I review his canon. I know it's pretty inconvenient to have to wait for and click between 2 videos just to learn one character, but I didn't want to keep you guys waiting for a 30-minute long video, and I especially didn't want to get lazy and rush it, because that's just not worth your time. Also, my Thanksgiving break ends pretty soon, and midterms are just around the corner, so I won't really have enough time to record and edit a guide with as much effort as this one. But just know that I will return to make part 2, and I greatly appreciate your patience. Once again, thank you all for watching, have an amazing day or night, and happy birthday Xull!